Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to share with you a very special story about a journey that I took to Patagonia that changed me forever. It's been over a year since I had the privilege of visiting this incredible place and spending time with some amazing people who truly love and protect their land. I'll be sharing stories from this trip over the next few weeks, so stay tuned for more updates. But in today's video, I want to give you an overview of what makes Patagonia such a special place and how my experience there has impacted me ever since. When most people think of Patagonia, they picture vast, empty wilderness full of ice and snow. While this is partly true, especially if you head to the top of South America and explore places like Mount Elbrus or Torres del Paine, Patagonia also has rolling green hills, incredible lakes and rivers filled with rainbow trout, ancient forests and diverse wildlife. One of the most important things to note about Patagonia is that it's actually divided into two sections, Chilean Patagonia and Argentine Patagonia. And while both places are beautiful, they have different landscapes and experiences to offer. If you prefer mountains and glaciers, you'll likely enjoy exploring the Torres del Paine National Park in Chile or the Mount Elbrus National Park in Argentina. On the other hand, if you'd rather see forests and lakes, then head to the lesser-known but equally stunning areas of Chilean Patagonia, which include the temperate rainforest of the Chaiten region and the beautiful lakes and rivers around Coyhaique. Now let's talk about the impact Patagonia has had on me. I've always loved spending time in nature. Growing up in a coastal town in British Columbia, I spent countless hours hiking, skiing, snowboarding and fishing. I even pursued a career in marine biology because I was fascinated by the ocean. However, I can honestly say that nothing compares to the feeling I get when I'm in Patagonia. The sheer size and wildness of the landscape is humbling, and it puts everything into perspective. It's easy to feel insignificant when you're surrounded by towering granite peaks, massive glaciers and endless forests. But at the same time, you can't help but feel connected to everything around you. You realize that you're just a small part of a much bigger picture. This realization has had a profound impact on me and has changed the way I approach life. I've become more mindful of my place in the world and the impact my actions have on the environment around me. I've also learned to appreciate the interconnectedness of all living things and the importance of protecting and preserving the natural world for future generations. Patagonia is truly a magical place, and I feel incredibly fortunate to have experienced its beauty firsthand. I hope that everyone gets the chance to visit this incredible destination and experience the transformative power of nature for themselves. Now let's talk about the specifics of what you can expect to see and do in Patagonia. The best time to visit is during the summer months of December to February, but keep in mind that it's summertime in the southern hemisphere. The weather can be unpredictable, so be prepared for anything. If you're interested in seeing wildlife, then a great option is to take a boat tour to Magdalena Island, where you can see thousands of rock and elephant seals. Another popular activity is horseback riding, which is a great way to explore the vast ranches that dot the Patagonian landscape. You can also go trekking, mountain biking and climbing. There are many tour operators that offer guided trips, so you don't have to worry about planning everything yourself. Just make sure to book in advance, especially if you're traveling during peak season. One of the highlights of any trip to Patagonia is staying at a gaucho ranch. Gauchos are the South American equivalent of cowboys, and staying at a ranch is a great way to experience the local culture and way of life. You can learn how to ride horses, cook traditional Patagonian food, and enjoy the company of the local gauchos. Some of the ranches also offer yoga and other wellness activities. When it comes to food, you can expect plenty of grilled meats, fresh salads, and local wines. If you're feeling adventurous, you can try some of the more exotic dishes, such as alpaca or llama meat. Just be sure to try the local specialty, which is lamb. Lamb is a staple of the Patagonian diet, and it's typically grilled or roasted and served with potatoes and salad. Overall, Patagonia is a truly unique and unforgettable destination. Whether you're looking for adventure, relaxation, or something in between, Patagonia has something for everyone. So if you're planning a trip to South America, be sure to add Patagonia to your list. You won't regret it. My first trip to Patagonia was in early 2022. I had the good fortune to meet a friend of mine through a mutual connection. He is a Patagonia ambassador and was heading down for the summer season. When I say summer, I mean summer in the southern hemisphere, which is December through February. So as soon as I heard he was going, I asked if I could tag along. I didn't really know what to expect. My only frame of reference for Patagonia was the movie Wild, which is based on a true story about a woman who hiked the Pacific Crest Trail after her mother died. And I thought, how hard can it be? Throw on a backpack and walk. Turns out Patagonia isn't exactly known for its well-maintained trails and abundant trailheads. The flight from Santiago, Chile to Punta Arenas was about 2.5 hours. Punta Arenas is a charming town on the coast of Chile that was founded in the early 1800s by a Scottish explorer named Captain Robert Fitz Roy. We picked up our rental car and drove 3 hours north to Puerto Natales, a small town that serves as the gateway to Torres del Paine National Park. Puerto Natales is a picturesque town nestled between the Andes Mountains and the Laguna de los Cisnes. The town is known for its rich history as a sheep farming and mining settlement, and today it offers a range of outdoor activities for tourists including hiking, trekking and kayaking. As we drove through the town, I couldn't help but notice how quaint and charming it was. The streets were lined with colorful houses and shops, and the air was filled with the sound of birds and the smell of fresh pine. I knew I was in for an adventure. After checking into our hotel, we headed straight to the supermarket to stock up on supplies for our week-long road trip. Then we set off on our 3-day adventure. Our first stop was Refugio Chileno, which is located near the base of the Torres del Paine. The drive was breathtaking. We passed through dense forests, over rivers, and along the base of towering mountains. The scenery was constantly changing, and it felt like we were driving through a movie. After a few hours, we arrived at the refuge, which was a cozy and rustic cabin that had been built in the 1960s. It was the perfect place to relax and unwind after our long drive. The owner of the refuge, a friendly Patagonian man in his 60s, greeted us warmly and showed us to our room. The room was small but comfortable with a wooden floor and a bed made of fresh straw. Outside, we had a private deck with a barbecue grill and a hot tub. It was the perfect place to enjoy the stunning views of the surrounding mountains. We spent the afternoon hiking around the area, taking in the sights and sounds of Patagonia. We saw condors soaring overhead, guanacos grazing in the distance, and a variety of other bird species that I couldn't identify. We also saw a lot of evidence of guanacos, which are the South American equivalent of llamas. We saw their tracks in the mud, their droppings on the rocks, and their fur caught on some of the bushes. All signs that these animals were plentiful in the area. As evening approached, we headed back to the refuge to enjoy a delicious dinner of grilled lamb and fresh salad. We sat by the fire, sipping local wine and sharing stories. It was the perfect way to end our first day in Patagonia. The next morning, we woke up bright and early to the sound of birds chirping and the smell of fresh coffee. The owner had already prepared a hearty breakfast of eggs, bacon, toast and fresh fruit. We fueled up and hit the road, eager to explore more of this stunning landscape. Our first stop of the day was the lookout point at Mirador Cuernos. The hike to the lookout was relatively easy, but the payoff was worth every step. From the lookout, we had a panoramic view of the park's namesake, the Torres del Paine, which are 3 jagged granite peaks that rise almost 3,000 meters above the surrounding landscape. The peaks are truly awe-inspiring, and they looked even more impressive in person than they did in the photos. We spent a couple of hours hiking around the lookout, taking in the stunning views and taking plenty of pictures. Next, we drove to our next stop, which was a secluded hot spring called Termas de Puyuhuapi. The drive was a bit bumpy, but the reward at the end was worth it. The hot springs were nestled in a beautiful valley surrounded by lush vegetation, and the water was a perfect temperature to relax and unwind. We spent the afternoon soaking in the hot springs and enjoying the tranquility of the setting. It was the perfect way to refresh and rejuvenate after our long drive and hike. As evening began to fall, we headed back to Puerto Natales, stopping for a late lunch at a local restaurant along the way. The drive back to Puerto Natales was a bit longer than we anticipated, but the stunning scenery made the time pass quickly. When we finally arrived back in town, we decided to celebrate with a nice dinner at one of the local restaurants. We enjoyed a delicious meal of fresh seafood and Patagonian lamb, accompanied by a bottle of local Malbec. It was the perfect ending to our first day in Patagonia. And that's a wrap on part 1 of my Patagonia adventure. Stay tuned for part 2, where I'll share more stories and experiences from my time in this incredible place. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Bye!